Good morning and welcome to Citharon News Network special on Oedipus Rex. My name is Samantha Pavis.
My name is Sebastian Gutierrez, and today we are your morning hosts. We'll be discussing the story of Oedipus Rex and his untimely fall shown through Life Theater.
Beginning with the honor of interviewing the writer of the original play as he explains his purpose behind the story and the message he aimed to convey to his readers.
It is clear that he accomplished his goal, seeing that the story still has such great impact. Now over to Joe, who will be interviewing the accomplished Greek author and writer of Oedipus Rex, Sophocles.
Sophocles, thank you for being here with us. We have just a few questions we'd like to ask you.
Of course, it's an honor to be able to share the story of Oedipus the king.
To start, we were wondering, what was your purpose for writing this story?
Oedipus Rex was written for performance at the city Dionysia, a festival in Athens which honored the god Dionysia by way of presentations of several plays.
So where did you receive the information for this work to fuel your purpose?
As the author, I just tried to examine man's responsibility for his own moral sanctity and sanity, and I at the same time realized that in order to fulfill these responsibilities, a man must have equal measures of both piety and faith in and towards the gods. As I wrote, I channeled the information that the gods gave me and tried to increase my city's dedication to them.
Would you say the responsibility you were given tied into any interesting writing quirks you may have had?
My major innovation was my introduction of a third actor into the dramatic performance, which allowed for a much more accurate representation of the stories which were being conveyed.
This is such a powerful story. There must have been some drive for you to write it. What was an early experience where you learned language had such power?
I won my first victory at the Dionysian Dramatic Festival, defeating the great Aeschylus in the process. This showed me that my writing had much more power than anyone would have imagined.
As such a great writer, do you have any suggestions for others to become better writers? What are they?
Of course. An anonymous biographer at the time called me the pupil of Homer, suggesting that my great power had come to me from the greatest of Greek poets. My main suggestion would be to take inspiration from the even greater forces around you.
Thank you for such great advice and this even better interview.
Thank you, Sophocles, for spending your time with us. I feel like I can understand what his thoughts were and his true purpose behind the story was. Wouldn't you agree, Sam?
Yes, in fact, I understand it so deeply that this next interview with Oedipus will resonate much more.
Now here's to our field reporter, Risha, who will be interviewing the famous Oedipus Rex.
King Oedipus, thank you so much for joining us today.
It is my pleasure.
We have a couple of questions we'd like to ask you. To start, what is something you care about most?
Well, obviously, the land of Thebes is my number one priority. My queen Yocasta, my children, and even those underneath me have been my loves since the day I became king and defeated the Sphinx.
Oedipus, I'll miss you and I pity you.
That was Queen Yocasta, but back to King Oedipus. What are some past or present relationships that have affected you?
Well, one of them just walked by. But as shown, my wife, Yocasta, has always been the greatest source of inspiration and faith I have within this life. Like the stars in the night sky, she guides me through all of my hardest decisions for this kingdom. Another is my family, King Polybus and Queen Merope, who have built me into the king and leader I have become today.
What was your role in your family growing up? It had to have been impacted by the presence of these circumstances.
Well, during my childhood, my adopted parents and I have always been close, just as blood relatives would have been. Now my family has expanded into all of Thebes, my sons and my daughters. As such, I am a leader of the household, and I wish all of them a fulfilling life.
So following that answer, do you consider yourself a leader or a follower?
I never mean to have too much pride, but I'm surely a leader. Though my actions guide those in my city to what benefits them the most. An example of this is how I'm ridding my city of the plague.
What an interesting take, but moving on from that, if it isn't too personal, what is your biggest secret?
Well, truly, my greatest secret is that the most important woman in my life is both my wife and my mother. But I love her much more than you can imagine.
My king, tragedy has befallen our great city, and you must come. Your queen, our queen, Yocasta, has befallen the hands of grief and has taken her own life.
What's this? My queen, my wife. My queen. No, No longer will these eyes see such agony. No longer shall I see the things that I have done, the things that I have suffered. Those whom I should have never seen will now be shrouded in darkness, nor will I know those whom I had loved. Ah!
By the testament of the new King Creon, Oedipus has been banished forever from the great Thebes in order to eradicate the disease that has plagued the city since the day he entered. Incest, a disgusting breed of familial love which has led to the deaths of many in the city. To those who live in arrogance and greed, let the name of Oedipus resonate as a lesson to listen to that which the gods say and a warning to not tempt fate. All hail the new King Creon.